Good morning, students. Today I will discuss you the lesson. The house is not a home. That's a very beautiful lesson in which it is indicated why a house is not a home. That is, a house is not a home means the building made of brick is not a home if you are not having your loving ones. Now, the lesson which I'm going to start with. My first year, my first year of high school felt awkward. Means here the writer is telling about his experience of high school. That is awkward for him. Why he will narrate in the procedure, in the proceedings. After leaving junior high at the head of my class with all the seniority the upper grade levels could afford. It felt strange starting over as a freshman. The school was twice as big as my old school. Why it is awkward? Because he was a fresher there. Okay, and though the building was as big, twice as big means जो उसका पुराना स्कूल था उससे 2 गुना बड़ी थी. And to make matters worse, my closest friends were sent to a different high school. I felt very isolated. I think that this is the same feeling that all the students who change their school, they felt in going to a new school, that everything is changed, whether it was a concern of the building or the concern of the classmates. I missed my old teachers so much that I would go back and visit them. The writer is saying here that he missed his old school very much. That he used to go to the teachers to meet them. They would encourage me to get involved in school activities so that I could meet new people. His teachers always encourage him to participate in the activities so that he get involvement in the school. They told me that in time I would just and probably end up loving my new school more than I had my old one. Okay, the motivation from the teachers is the likewise your old teachers may probably give you that do the things in the school and you will after some time you will attach to the your new school and you will forget your old school. One Sunday afternoon, not long after I started high school, I was sitting at home. Now the happening comes into the life of the writer that it was a crucial time for him as he started to join a new school. He was already disturbed, and one Sunday afternoon, what happened that one was sitting in a dining room table doing homework. It was a cold and windy fall day, and we had a fire going in our fireplace. As you know, that in the cold weather, what we have to do, we have to burn fire, or we have something that should keep us warm. So, in the writer's house, there was a fireplace, and where the fire was burning because it was a cold day. As usual, my red tabby cat was lying on top of all my papers. Okay, he has a bat, that is a red tabby cat. As usual, he was sitting on the papers of the writer, purring loudly and occasionally swatting at my pen for entertainment's sake. Means as the pets do with normally do with us, that they play with the things of ours. So in the same manner, the cat is doing that. She was never far from me. I had rescued her when she was a kitten, and somehow she was the one responsible for giving her the good life. Okay, the writer rescued the cat when he was a small kitchen, so she know that the writer was responsible for giving her a new life. My mother kept stoking the fire to keep the house nice and warm. Suddenly he smelled something strange. Now what is happening? He smelled something strange. That is not the uh, normal flavor that you are having in the house. And then I noticed it smoke burning it through the same themes of the ceiling, means धुआं आ रहा था. The smoke began to fill the room so quickly that we could barely see. Means what is happening, uh, that the smoke is running so heavily that he was not able to see into the midst of the smoke what is happening. Our way to front door and we ran out of the front yard. By the time we made our way outside, the whole roof was engulfed in flames. इससे पहले कि वो कुछ सोच पाते, पूरी छत किसमें हो गई, फ्लेम्स में, मतलब लपटों में गिर गई. And it was spreading quickly. The fire was spreading quickly. I ran to the neighbors to call the fire department while I watched my mother run back into the house. Okay, all of them ran back to the run towards the playground, and he was going to the neighbor's house to inform the fire brigade. While he see that his mother is going into the house again, my mother then ran out of the house carrying a small metal box full of important documents. And what she is having, she is having the important documents. She dropped the case on the lawn and in a crazed state ran back into the house. Again she ran back into the house. I knew that she was after my father had died when I was young, and I was certain that she was not going to let his pictures and letters go up in flames. Okay, the author is not having his father, so he was sure that the mother is going to have his father picture and the letters inside the house. They were the only things that she had to remember him by. Still I screamed at her, mom, no. हालांकि ऑथर जानता था कि मदर घर के अंदर वही लेने गई है, but still he was saying don't go. I was about to run after her when I felt a large hand hold me back. Okay, the author was going uh, to chase his mother, but he was caught holded by the firemen. I hadn't even noticed that the street had already filled with the fire trucks. I was trying to free myself from his grasp, yelling, "You don't understand, my mother is in there." ओके, द ऑथर चीख रहा है कि छोड़ो मुझे, तुम नहीं जानते कि मेरी मम्मी घर के अंदर है. Okay, he all on me while other firefighters ran to the house. He knew that I wasn't acting very logically, and that if he were to let go, I would run. He was right. Okay, according to the fireman, I was not behaving logically because to go in, it's a quite danger. But they are not understanding the mental status of the writer, because his mother was in, so he was anxious to go. He wrapped a blanket around me and sat me down to a car. Soon after that, a fireman emerged from her house with my mom in tow. Okay, after some time, the fireman is having the mother and put an oxygen mask on her. I ran over and hugged her. All those times I ever argued with her and hated her vanished at the thought of losing her. Okay, as normal, the kids of the same age do that. They argued and they don't have the same opinion with the mother, but at that particular time every disagreement has got lost when he saw that his mother was given oxygen by a fireman. She is going to be okay, said the fireman. She just inhaled a little smoke, and then he ran back to fight and fire while my mother and I sat there dazed. I remember watching my house burn down and thinking that there was nothing I could do about it. He was very sorry to see that his house was burning, but as being a child, he was not able to do anything there. Only the fireman is there on the duty. 5 hours later, the fire was finally out. Okay, how many time it takes? 5 hours. Our house was almost completely burned down, but then it struck me. I hadn't seen my cat. Where was my cat? Much to my horror, I realized that she was nowhere to be found. Means that was a shocking news for the writer, because he was not having his cat. Neither the idea came into his mind that his cat can go anywhere, because it was very shocking. And when everything was finalized, that the fire was finally out, the house was almost completely burned, then the idea of the cat struck into his mind. He fell into trees, but nothing could happen now. The fireman wouldn't let us go back into the house that night. I was still too dangerous, dead or alive. I couldn't imagine leaving without knowing about my cat. Regardless, I had to go. We piled into the car with just the clothes on our backs and a few of the fireman's blankets and made our way to my grandparents' house to spend the night. Okay, the author's mental state was too worried this time because he wanted to know what was happening with the gate, but no fireman allowed him to do so. They pushed him into the car like the clothes, and they went to the grandparents' house to spend the night. The next day, Monday, I went to school. When the fire broke out, I was still wearing the dress I had worn to church that morning, but I had no shoes. I had kicked them off when I was doing my homework. They become yet another casualty of the fire. So, means everything they are having, they are in the house, and that was one. So he was not having the shoes, the proper uniform to go into the house, and there was the very big loss for the author because he has to go to the school without a proper uniform. He was not having the things with him. I walked around school like a zombie. Everything felt surreal, and I wasn't sure of what was going to happen. All the security I had known from my old school, my friend, my house, and my cat had all been ripped away. For him, what's the security? His old school, his old teachers, his old friends, and moreover, the cat. And that he was not having. He was in the new school, new friends, new classmates, new surroundings, new building, and he was not having his pet with him. When he walked through what used to my house after school that day, I was shocked to see how much damage there was. Means after the school, he went to the house, which was one, and that there was nothing alive. Whatever had not been burned was destroyed by the water and chemicals that had used to put out the fire. And what could be the left in the house that was destroyed due to the huge water and the chemicals they put there to put out the fire. The only material things not destroyed was the photo albums, documents, and some other personal items that my mother had managed to heroically rescue. And which was left only those things which his mother had rescued in that fire and make it to come out safe. There was no time to grieve. My mother rushed me out of the house. He would have to find a place to live, and I would have to go buy some clothes for school. His mother didn't leave him for that much time to the house because they have to do the things for the new house. We had to borrow money from my grandparents because there were no credit cards, cash, or even any identification to be able to withdraw money from the bank. Everything had gone up to smoke. They have to borrow money from the grandparents because nothing was left with them. That week, the rubble that used to our house was being cleared of the lot. Even though we had rented an apartment nearby, I could watch them clear every debris, hoping that my car was somewhere to be found. She was gone. I kept thinking about that vulnerable little kitten to the early morning. Means in this, he was thinking about the cat who was not there with him. All the time he was thinking about her. Maybe he may be somewhere, he could find her, but the last moment is that he was not having the cat. It always seemed that had news spreads quickly, and in my case, it was so no different. Everyone in high school, including the teachers, was aware of my plight. I was embarrassed as if somehow I were responsible. Means the author was very much embarrassed by the situation because the news of his house burn was everywhere. The next day at school, people were acting even more strange than usual. I was getting ready for gym class at my locker. People were miling around me, asking me to hurry. But I thought it is strange, but in the light of the past 2 weeks, nothing would surprise me. Means everybody in the school is behaving very normally to him and encouraging him to do the in hurry. It was a strange thing for him to in the new school to be happening, because before that no one is like that who's so much friendly with him. And what he see, that everybody in the school has made notebooks, clothes, jeans tops, sweatshirts uh, for him. His new classmates in the new school has made these arrangements so that he can be comfortable. I got all kinds of invitation to their houses. The genuine outpouring of concern really touched me. In that instant, I finally breathed a sigh of relief and thought for the first time that things were going to be okay. I made friends that day. Okay, in that very moment, he thought that things was not like worse as he was thinking, because he met the friends on that very day. A month later, I was at my house watching them rebuild it, but this time it was different. I wasn't alone. I was with two of my new friends with from school. It took a fire for me to stop focusing on my feelings of insecurity. Means that fire filled him with insecure feelings, but and now he was having his friends. While we sat there on the curb planning my new bedroom, I heard someone walk up to me from behind and say, "Does this belong to you?" Someone has come outside of the house and was asking, "Is this belong to you?" When I turned around to see who it was, I couldn't believe my eyes. A woman was standing there holding my cat. A woman was having his cat that was missing due to the burning of the house. I captured and grabbed her out of the woman's arms. I held her close to me and cried into the beautiful orange fur. She purred happily. My friends were hugging me, hugging the cat and jumping around. I was so happy, and my friend was also happy for me that I'm having my cat. Apparently, my cat had been so freaked by the fire that she ran over a mile away. The caller had our phone number on it, but our phones had been destroyed and disconnected. This wonderful woman took her in and worked hard to find out whose cat it was. Okay, that woman worked hard to find the owners of the cat. Though the cat scholar is having the phone number of theirs, but their phones were disconnected, so they was not having. She was not able to find the owner. So she worked her hard. As I sat there with my friends and my cat curled up in my lap, all the overwhelming feelings of loss and tragedy seemed to diminish. Means now he forget all the sad moments after that fire that has come into his mind. I felt gratitude for my life, my new friends, the kindness of a stranger, and the loud purr of my beloved cat. My cat was back, and so was I. So was I means he was also back into the life, as he come to know that house is not a home. Means if you are having your loving ones, if you are having your friends with you, if you are having the kind person like that French woman, then it doesn't mean where you are living. Where you are living, that becomes a house for you. That's all in this. The main theme of this is that you may have the losses in your life, but your life doesn't come to an end. You have to begin it with the new things, new inspirations, new motivations, so that you can fulfill your life with new achievements. So it's all in your